Hey guys, so today I have a friend here with me and we're going to be showing you some makeup application tips and tricks featuring today's sponsor, Jecca Blac. So to start off with today's video, I do just want to quickly give my partner in crime for today a chance to introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Vivian, and if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's @VivsMind, and it'll be on a link below.
As well as my social media, so make sure you go and check me out as well. Instagram does happen to be my favorite. I'm also on TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, and basically everywhere else you can think of. So, go check that out, as well as my website. Also, if you are not subscribed, please hit that red button and ring the bell to get notified every time I upload a new video. Today's video is sponsored by Jecca Blac. Before we get started, I just want to give you guys a little more background and explain just why they are such a perfect company to be working with for today's video. Jecca Blac is a UK-based makeup company started by Jecca Blac. She originally started giving makeup lessons to trans individuals in her safe space studio based in the UK. She would also give trans women the opportunity to have makeup lessons inside of prison. They believe makeup is gender-free, and actually, all Jecca Blac products happen to be vegan and cruelty-free. Thanks again to Jecca Blac for sponsoring today's video and for sending me today's products. Lastly, if you haven't checked out my last video, Jecca Blac, I actually did makeup on myself using some of these products that you see today in different colors. Actually, in that video, I did get a few products today in the mail that we didn't end up using on her, but I will be using in the near future. So again, please make sure you're subscribed to be notified when those videos go live. Without further ado, let's jump into today's video. Okay, so the first question is, were there any signs during your childhood?
Yes, there was. I know that when I was 8, I specifically remember that age because when I used to go to my cousin's house, well, my aunt's house, but she had 3 daughters. So I would spend the night almost like every other weekend. And every time I was over there, we would dress up. And since my cousins were kind of close in like body structure, kind of, but I always kept it hidden from anybody else. And it was always just them, and we were just playing at the time.
Yeah, it was always just like dress up.
And we never did makeup at the time because we were still kind of young for makeup, so it was just mostly clothing. Before I even started high school, I went to that same aunt and I told her, I showed her pictures of me dressed up, and the thing is, being Hispanic and having, I guess, a Catholic background, they had no knowledge of what it was. And my aunt, this was early teens. I was probably like 13 or 12. And I'm here crying and I'm telling her, showing her pictures of me dressed up. And then she's like, oh, it's just a fetish. You'll get over it. From that day forward, I was just like, I would always feel a little ashamed afterwards because she was like, oh, it was just a fetish. As you grow older and it still continues, you start questioning it even more. I'm like, there has to be more than just a fetish if it's kind of taking over my thoughts.
So the first product we're going to use from today's sponsor, Jecca Blac, is going to be the Sculpt and Soften palette in the shade Light. So there are 2 colors in here made to sculpt and highlight the face. Both are of creamy consistent, perfect to use with a brush or with a sponge. So I'm going to use a brush to just apply it to the face and then go ahead in with a sponge. This does come with a book with quite a few instructions on how to utilize this product to soften your face. So it will walk you through different application processes and types to help you accommodate for things that maybe make you more uncomfortable with your face, such as your jawline, your forehead, your nose, and or your cheekbones. So the next question is, when did you start questioning your gender? Was there a specific age, place, or an event?
I've always questioned it. I just never asked anybody about it personally. I guess when it came out to my aunt when she said it was a fetish, because that's how I took it. So that's when I was like, is it a fetish? Is it a fetish? And then, there was, at the time, there wasn't a lot of online support and resources.
Yeah.
The only thing I ever found online was basically porn when it involved questioning it. It kind of like in my mind backed what my aunt was saying.
So now that all the creams are down, I just like to look at you in there. So I'm going to take this and I'm actually going to start with the light colors and just kind of help blend everything together. Tell me about your favorite memory since coming out as transgender.
You know, I finally came out. You know, at the time I had a partner that was kind of supportive. Well, very supportive, not kind of. The first time that I actually was able to dress with her was when we were living in a house. At the time, my daughter was 1. You know, I had makeup on, I had a wig on, you know, a dress, and I picked her up, and the first thing that she did was smile and gave me a hug.
Okay, so the next product I'm using is Jecca Blac Glow Drops. These are actually supposed to be used as a highlighter and or primer, and today we're using it as a highlighter. So I just added this to the tops of the cheeks, the top of the nose, and the high points of the middle of the face, so the center of the forehead, the center of the chin, and the upper lip. And this is in the color Rose Pro.
You know, when I felt the love of her, like no matter what, how I looked or how I felt, she was always gonna love me, so that was the most
memorable and favorite and special.
Yes. So she was still like very little, but she understood, you know, she recognized my face. And it was just such an eye-opener, being like, you know, my daughter loves me no matter what I feel, no matter how I look. It kind of gave me a little bit more courage to not care what other people think, because I already know that she already loves me no matter what.
Tell me about the first time you ever cross-dressed in public.
I've done it twice that I remember. They were both when I was either 17 or 16. And they were both for Halloween. One year it was, I went to a gay party. My friend had invited me and, you know, I dressed up. And it was fun. The one down thing that kind of like got to me was they were like, oh, you look better as a guy, you look better as a guy.
Of course they did, they're all gay guys.
So yeah, because they were all, you know, they were kind of
the men.
The second time was, so I went to school dressed up, you know, all girly or in women's clothing. You know, I was going from one class to another, and, you know, some guys were walking by, like, oh, well, you're taking this too far, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, kind of being a little bit negative about it. So I took everything off, like, during lunch. And my excuse was, oh, because I have sports at the end of the day, so I have to, you know, get ready for that. But it was really just because I didn't want to be.
You didn't feel comfortable.
Yeah.
What is the first makeup item you remember wearing or owning or using?
When I was younger, I would use some of my mom's stuff, but it was mostly lipstick that I would use because I didn't know how to apply anything else. But I never actually like took any of it. I always put it back.
Of course.
Just because I didn't want her to question it.
You didn't come out as gay, did you?
I know, because I was closet bi.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't come out until the same time as I came out.
How did you tell your parents and what happened afterwards?
Before I told my parents, I went to therapy. Because I know my family, you know, they're Catholic and Christian. I felt like if I would have just came out to them, they would have just ignored it or say I'm crazy, you know, like
not take it serious.
Yeah, not take it serious. So I had my letter from my therapist explaining things, and I told my sister and my mom at the same time. You know, she questioned everything. She was like, are you sure? What is this? What does this mean? Mm-hmm. You know, she wasn't against it. She was just very confused. There was times where I babysat for her. When the kids would go to bed, you know, I would stay in her room and I would use her clothing. And she's caught me a couple times where I fell asleep in her clothing. So when she was questioning me when I came out to her, like, I was like, I brought that up. I was like, dude, you've seen me dressed up, wearing your clothing. at your house. Like, I know you have. And with my mom, it took her a while to understand it. Not accept it. She accepted it. She just didn't understand it. And that was the hardest part. Talked to her and I was like, remember when you found clothing in my closet? You always assumed it was a girl that I was dating. But some of them were actually mine. Like boots or, you know, underlayers. They were my clothing. And I always told you it was my girlfriend's at the time. But it was actually mine. And then she connected the dots finally. She realized it. I was like, oh.
Just who you are?
Yeah.
How have your friends and family adjusted things like pronouns?
Most of my friends have adjusted pretty well. My mother goes between both of them. Like she'll use, you know, he, him, she, her. I don't want to give her an excuse because there's like really not an excuse, but if there was one, it's just the habit, you know.
So now I'm using the shade Pink Pearl from Jecca Blac's collection of play pots, which are cream-based pigments for the eyes, cheeks, lips, and really anywhere you want to apply them. As with the rest of Jecca Blac's range, these are vegan and cruelty-free. They come in a variety of different shades and can be applied with a brush or your fingertips, so feel free to play with them. That's why they're called play pots.
Yeah, my aunt is the most
Right.
supportive, just because I think she's just a little bit more cultured. She understands and she knows what transgenderism is. She's actually given me, you know, quite a bit of clothing that she used to have.
They do recommend with the play pots, since they are cream, that you use a similar shade to just lightly set the area to help ensure that no creasing happens throughout the day. So that's what I'm doing. It's actually adding a little more vibrance to it, which I kind of like.
To me, the first step was actually being able to talk to someone about it. I've done laser hair removal. I'm actually still in the process of doing it because it takes quite a while. I've been able to grow out my hair. Luckily, I've grown out this much in a year and a half to 2 years, which is quite a lot. I started HRT. I tried pills, estrogen pills. I have 2 kids at home, and just having those 2 pills daily made it very difficult to keep it on track. So my doctor, Rose, she, you know, switched me to injections, so that way I only do them once a week. But for future milestones, I think I do want to proceed with other procedures. You know, I know it's not necessary and everybody's transition is different, but you know, this is something that I specifically want.
Is boobies one of the things that you're talking about?
I would definitely would love to. I mean, if I had the ability to do, you know, full FFS, then yes, more power to me on that, but it's really expensive.
Did coming out notably affect your dating life?
I haven't really had a dating life, just because I had a partner when I did come out. So it's hard to actually explain that, because
So kind of didn't change anything for your dating ways?
it hasn't exactly.
At what step did you feel you were truly being yourself?
The most memorable part of being euphoric was I've taken my kids to the park one day. You know, I was dressed up. I had my ponytail, my side bangs, and it was just me. It was me and my 2 kids, and there was a guy, and he was approaching me, and like, you know, he was kind of like interested in talking to me, and like, he didn't look at me differently. I guess he just saw me, 2 kids, saw a woman, and he was initiating a conversation. And you know, on the way back, it just made me feel really good.
Yeah.
I wasn't really into him, like, in that way, but just the conversation, you know, the non-judgmental tones, So I think all that together made it feel kind of good.
Kind of real.
Yeah.
I think this is it, and I can be seen.
Yeah, exactly.
So the next product we're going to use is one of their long-lasting lipsticks in the shade U.R.U. The other shades that they sent to me are Life on the Rainbow, which is this like pinky red, and the nude is Play Nude. The recommended application for these, since they are long-lasting, is to warm it up on the back of your hand before application, and or to use a lip brush to apply these. And that's about it. So what do you guys think of today's look? What do you think of today's look? Do you like it?
It's definitely things that I've never done, so it's really nice to actually have products and know what products I'm using because it looks really good.
I am no means a makeup artist. I am just a makeup lover, and I'm sharing my love for makeup and my passion with others, and I'm happy that you're happy, even if it is just a little.
Yeah, it was fun.
But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I hope you learned a thing or two. And again, if you are not following me on social media, or her, I'll leave all of her links down below as well as on screen. And if you are not subscribed, hit the red button and ring the bell to get notified every time I upload a new video, including another one from this series. Thanks again to the sponsor of today's video, Jecca Blac. I appreciate you all, and I hope you all have a safe, wonderful rest of your week. And no matter where you are, that you are happy and know that you are loved. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys. And if you like my look, maybe hype me up down there too, if you want to.